Welcome back, once again, to the realm of Final Fantasy XIV, where I said last time that we're going to be facing one of the major gatekeepers to a lot of endgame, and that is Titan Hard Mode. You can go through the duty finder, but this is the first time that I will outright tell you, don't. We're going to be going through the party finder. This fight is hard enough and complicated enough that going through the duty finder is good for practice. But don't expect to win. Just don't. If you want to have any expectation of winning, check the party finder or make one for yourself. I'm going into this way over-geared, but then this fight isn't for me. This fight is for Ogre. You see, if you've been following the quests correctly, by the time you beat Titan Hard Mode, you'll be able to get your artifact weapon, your relic weapon. Which, once upgraded to its zenith, will be an item level 90 weapon. So, with that said, I've grabbed him and another friend from our link shell, and we're going to be tackling Titan Hard Mode. I'll take this moment to give you a real quick rundown. The fight is divided up into 4 phases or so. But I suppose we'll be getting to that once we're ready to actually queue up. The fight will be divided up into 4 phases. Each phase will introduce a few new mechanics to deal with. The first phase will only have 2 or so attacks. The second phase will have a few more. By the time you get to the heart phase, that'll be a little bit of a difference, and then the final phase after the heart phase. So once we've started up the party finder, got everybody here, we can just jump straight into the duty finder to dump our party into the fight. Now, since each attack that he does is sort of introduced as the fight goes on, I'll be telling you about each of them and how to deal with them as we deal with them. Pardon me for a moment while I don't zoom the camera out, I had to turn the oven off. As said before, I would expect an average item level of at least 70 going into this fight. Do not go in with less than 70. Go in with preferably more. I've told you how to get item level 80 equipment, and you can even get some item level 90 relic equipment. Be as prepared as you can for this. Now, after patch 2.1 came out, they did reduce the lag considerably. Before that patch, you actually had to memorize his pattern or have a chart up or something, because you often had to be dodging attacks before he even did them. With the lag fix, though, as long as you know how to dodge them and are attentive, you should be able to get by. And once we're all prepped up and ready to go, the tank will go diving in. You'll notice we only have 1 tank and 5 DPS. You'll note there's no real need to have a second tank in this, so we opted to go in with 5 DPS instead. As long as the tank can hold up well, this will all work. Now I wait for Titan to turn around before I shoulder tackle in. Now I just got off fighting Titan Extreme mode, which is why I'm grouping up behind him. I would suggest Melee stand on his sides, not behind him. Now the first attack he did there was Landslide. If that attack hits you, it'll do a decent chunk of damage, but the more dangerous aspect of that attack is that it will knock you back. Now the other attack he did there was Tumult, which is the Stomps, as I'll be referring to them. He just did 2 there, which will do a fair amount of damage to everybody in the arena. And now he jumps up in the air and we get ready for part 2. Don't stand in the red or you will fall. He destroys the outside of the arena, and he starts using Weight of the Land. Now, Weight of the Land is probably the most dangerous attack that we'll be doing, since it's very difficult to dodge. You have to be very attentive to dodge out of the way of it. And don't group loosely with other people, or the weight of the lands will be spread out enough that you won't have a very good place to dodge. Try to stand in a location. All the mages are in back there. Melee is standing off to his side, so it's very easy to get out of the way. Now he jumps up in the air again, comes down again for phase 3, and he'll add a couple new attacks to his repertoire. He will once again break off the outer chunk of the arena, and landslide is very dangerous, and was in the previous phase, because if you get hit by it, you'll fly outside of the arena, and that will kill you. It just will, no questions asked. Now he starts using the bomb boulders. He'll use them in the clock formation here. Watch the order they landed in is the order they will explode. So stand where the last one to drop was, and after the first one to drop explodes, run to where it is so you can be safe. Weight of the land goes back more. It's only hitting a certain number of people at the moment. As the fight goes on, it will hit more, it will target, I should say, more and more people. He's also using the granite jail here, which everybody jump on and break free quickly. You'll notice Titan is now using even more stomps than before, which means you're taking even more damage from it, and that's everyone. You have to have a certain amount of HP going into this fight, or you just have zero chance of winning. You just won't live through that attack. Now he's jumping up in the air again. He will once again make the arena smaller still. Don't stand close to him, by the way. The closer you are to him, the more damage you take. And thus begins the heart phase. This phase is a straight DPS check. If you do not break the heart before a certain amount of time is up, he will simply wipe you. Now he does all of the attacks in this phase are the same as usual though. He does one jail, break that person free, and keep DPSing him. Oftentimes people will save up a limit break to use against this phase. Sometimes people will even auto-attack in the previous phases to build up the limit break faster. We're all pretty well geared though, so we should be able to just take him down. Now he will use a second granite jail. Don't break that one. By the time he uses the second one, you don't have much time left in the fight, in the heart phase, and your time is better suited just beating on the heart. Then he does his attack, which will do a huge amount of damage to everyone. If you don't have the heart destroyed, he will simply wipe you, and thus begins the final phase of the fight. Many people seem to think that if you've beaten the heart phase, you've effectively beaten the fight. You've got it from here. And oh no. This final phase of the fight is where the fight truly begins. A new bomb pattern here. Bombs will show up in 3 rows. Watch the order they arrive in. Run off to the side where the last one to spawn was, and then run to the middle, which will always be the first. He will also do landslide much earlier during that. That landslide will actually go off while you're trying to dodge the bombs. So be sure to position yourself in such a way as that his landslide won't lock away your safe area. I'll make a little bit more note of that as we go on, though. Another landslide there, and we're continuing to DPS on him. He is now doing far more stomps than he was before, so everybody is taking a lot more damage than before. He's also using another attack, Mountain Buster, I believe it's called, on the tank, which will do a huge amount of damage to the tank. The healer actually has to be ready to heal that before it even finishes going off. Now, once again, watch the order that the bombs fell. The middle is generally where everybody stands at the first place, since it's the last bomb to fall. But if everybody stands there, that's where landslide is going. So instead, run to the outside edge where the next most recent one to drop was, in order to dodge. That way you can then run just next door to that to where the first one dropped. The jail goes up, and we're once again beating on the jail. Somebody got hit by weight of the land. I got hit by weight of the land, but thankfully I'm geared enough to have survived it. And we're back to beating on Titan for just a little bit more. This is a messy thing here, and there goes Mountain Buster again, the table flip move, where he does a huge amount of damage to the tank, following that immediately up with the stomps. That is a quick way to kill the tank if the healer is not on the ball with that. I've mentioned that once already. Now the bombs fall down in the rows again. They came down on the right side here. We're standing in the middle to lead landslide, so we can then wait off to the side for the middle row of bombs to explode before going back into beating on Titan. Now I will say the healers are actually doing so much work at this point that if you are dead, you are not getting back up. They do not have the time or the MP to spare raising you. Not dying is exceptionally important. The most important part of the Titan fight as a whole is being able to dodge, knowing how and when to dodge each of his attacks, knowing where to go to lead landslide so you still have somewhere else to dodge. Whew. Going back to doing his stomps again, he's doing even more stomps. Weight of the Land is now targeting almost everyone, so you must always be prepared to dodge that. The bombs now falling again in a new pattern. I'm running off to the left side to lead landslide so I could run back to the center once it targeted on the left side. It targeted somebody on the other side, though, so it wasn't actually a big deal for me, and I could run back to the safety of the center. And we're back to beating on Titan again. Weight of the Land goes off again, squeezing in between. Again, healers need to group up in the back so they're not so spread out that no one has any room to dodge. You actually saw Ogre die there because the Weight of the Land was so spread out that oftentimes you simply don't have anywhere to run. Healers, mages, ranged, everybody needs to group up in the back. You can spread out in a line going directly towards Titan, so you can at least run sideways, or if you're coordinated enough, spread out sideways so you can run forward and backwards. Don't be afraid to run into Titan to dodge that. You'd think that's a bad idea, but it's better than getting hit by Weight of the Land. So once again, we run off to the side, we try to lead landslide, but we weren't quite in position, so I had to run around through Titan to dodge the bombs. I would not like to do that, but I'll do what I have to do. And that's gonna hurt. But the limit break pretty much won the fight. And that is the end of Titan Hard Mode. This is an exceptionally hard fight. You have to be exceptionally geared for it. I'll add. Again, by the end, you're taking so much damage from the stomps, you simply have to have the HP pool to get over it, and to live through it. People in the Duty Finders are generally never going to be geared or competent enough in order to get through this. If you're going to Duty Finder it for practice. Try to win, but never expect to. Get in a Party Finder. I set the minimum item level to 70 going into this Party Finder, and we got a group of people that could handle it pretty well. This is your major milestone. This is your major wall, your gateway, so to say, because it is the hardest thing easily that you've had to encounter up until now, and it's going to be really hard to get a win. But once you do, if you've been doing the quest, you should be able to go get your relic weapon, which will put you in a much better position to deal with most post-game.